This is one of those things I didn't expect to get excited about, but here we are. I fell into a bit of a bedding rabbit hole recently and ended up finding some genuinely nice, eco friendly sheep brands. Not stiff, not suffer for the planet, just actually really comfortable. And I realized if a friend had to ask me, what does eco friendly bedding even mean? And is it worth it? This is exactly what I would show them. So I'm going to scroll through a few different brands and just share what stood out for me because how you sleep really does matter. I know bedding sounds boring, but just trust me. Some quick context before we start though. When people say eco-friendly bedding, they usually mean better materials, fewer harsh chemicals, and just a more thoughtful production. And the bonus, those things often make the sheets more comfortable, softer, more breathable, and just nicer to sleep on overall. Okay, let's start with one of the more fully organic options. This is Avocado. I feel like this brand is kind of the gold standard, no nonsense option if organic materials are really important to you. Everything here is super clean and intentional. Organic cotton, organic hemp, and you'll see a lot of certifications if you scroll on their page. They have on their homepage, you can go directly to their certifications, which is super reassuring if you care about that stuff and don't want to guess what's legit and what's just plain old marketing. Their sheets feel very crisp, but also kind of soft, like that freshly made bed feeling that still somehow feels cozy. This is actually the kind of bedding my sister gravitates towards. She's very eco conscious. She reads her labels, does her research, and she has bought organic bedding before because she really cares about what she's sleeping on every night. She's the kind who asks, is it organic? Before she even asks what the price is. The colors are really calm and natural. Lots of clean whites, soft grays, and those muted earth tones that look like they belong in a minimalist bedroom. Not super bright or loud. It feels more like a quiet kind of luxury, if that makes sense. The kind that makes your bedroom feel peaceful and not like a screaming billboard. So Avocado is kind of perfect for that mindset where you are super eco-conscious. You know exactly what you're getting, it's breathable, it lasts, and it just feels solid. And at the top of their homepage, you can go straight to their sustainability. So they've got it on their homepage, but they've also got it up top here. And they show you their certifications, materials, their impact reports, every little thing that makes them super green. Okay, here we have attitude. So this is where things got interesting for me personally. These are bamboo based sheets and they're so soft, like silky smooth hotel level soft. My boyfriend sleeps like a furnace. Like he literally radiates heat. There's no amount of blankets that fixes that. And honestly, these were a complete game changer for him. I didn't believe the hype at first, but yeah, I get it now. They're really breathable and cooling without feeling slippery or weird, which was my concern going in. Also, let's have a look at the colors for a second. Very calm and modern. If you want to pop a color, they've got this awesome papaya. If you want to go a little bit darker, this blue and this gray. I love. It gives off, it could be black, it could be gray kind of vibe. So these are the kind of sheets I'd recommend if comfort is your top priority, but you still want something more sustainable than standard bedding. They have their sheets, their beddings designed for thermo-regulating, so perfect for the hot sleepers. And if you're still not sure which one is actually right for you, they've got a little virtual concierge at the bottom. This is Parachute. So Parachute is a bit of a middle ground brand, and I mean that in a good way. Not everything here is organic, but they are very transparent and clear about how things are made, and they focus a lot on quality materials that last. Their bedding has this relaxed live-in feel, like sheets you want to crawl into at the end of a very long day. This is the kind of bedding my mom would love. She's all about soft, airy, not too heavy, not too stiff, something that feels comfortable right away without needing that initial break-in period when you buy new bedding. Again, the colors and textures. It's very calming. It's something I've noticed while falling into this rabbit hole of eco-friendly bedding. It's all very calming, very relaxing, clean. They tell you the materials that they have. They've got their percale, linen, brush cotton, linen tencel, and sateen. So you can find one that suits your needs. And at the bottom, there's their sustainability page, which is also worth quickly clicking through. And you'll see they're pretty open about their materials and manufacturing, which is something I appreciate. You know, they're honest about what they're selling. They're honest about where it comes from. So Cijo. Cijo is another really interesting one, especially if you tend to sleep warm. They use eucalyptus-based fabrics. Very interesting. Which feels super smooth and cool to the touch. Not shiny, just airy and light. These are great if overheating is your nightly struggle. They manage moisture really well, and you don't wake up feeling tangled or sticky, which is a huge plus. Again, the color scheme here is very clean and modern, minimal, calming. I'm loving it. This green is nice. I'd say this is for someone who wants bedding that does something, like actively helps with temperature, but still cares about sustainability and how it looks. Again, they show you the materials that they have: eucalyptus, linen, cotton, and they also do bamboo, luxury sleepwear, cooling pajamas, and at the bottom, their certifications. So you know what you're getting. They've got their lab, their story, and a whole section for resources. And then there is Boll and Branch. This is more of a premium option, but everything is organic cotton and ethically made, which is a big deal if that's important to you. Their sheets are soft in a cozy, substantial way, not heavy, but comforting. It is a bit more expensive, but it feels like it. It's the kind of bedding you buy when you're like, okay, I'm done testing things, I found my match. And this is actually closest to my personal favorite. I like bedding I can fully snuggle into, especially in winter. I'm one of those. But still somehow stays breathable in summer, so I'm not kicking the covers off in the middle of the night or having to swap it out for a different bed set. If you want something that feels luxurious but also aligns with your values, this brand really nails that balance. And at the bottom, you can learn about them. You can read the reviews from other people, stories. This is something I love about them. You can trace your product from how it began to how it ended up in your home. So you take that little number, pop it into the little box, click on that, and it literally gives you the whole entire journey. So you know that what you bought is sustainable, it's eco-friendly, you know how it was made, you know what you're sleeping with. That to me is important. I love it. So one thing I do want to mention, just realistically, quickly, eco-friendly bedding is usually more expensive upfront. That's mostly because of better materials and cleaner productions. But the upside is that these sheets tend to last longer. They feel better over time and they don't fall apart after a year. So it kind of evens out the cost. You're paying for quality and cleaner production, not just the logo. So yeah, this was just me showing you what I found and what stood out to me. If you're curious about eco-friendly bedding, these are the ones I'd start with, depending on what matters most to you. If organic materials are your priority, Avocado, Boll and Branch are amazing. If cooling comfort is the goal, Attitude and Cijo are kind of hard to beat. And if you want something dependable and well made without overthinking it, Parachute is a really solid option. You can't go wrong. Honestly, the takeaway is simple. Eco-friendly bedding doesn't have to feel like a sacrifice. It can be soft, comfy, and actually really nice. All right, I'm going to stop talking about sheets now before I fully become that person. Because apparently, I'm now the kind of person who gets excited about sheets.